namely that antidepressants often do not do what they promise and are in fact causing harm to many.
Dr. Steve Hotze is suing over Obamacare's employer mandate.
It's time for a wellness revolution. Brought to you by Hotze Health and Wellness Center. Honest discussion on maintaining health and wellness naturally to enjoy a better quality of life.
He's the doctor fighting to let you keep your doctor.
Now, Dr. Stephen Hotze.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. I'm Stacey Bandfield, sitting in for Dr. Stephen Hotze, who is the founder of the Hotze Health and Wellness Center. We want to remind everybody that we do have podcasts available, so you can just go to iTunes, type in Hotze, H-O-T-Z-E, and you can download our radio show, Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. Listen to us day or night. Very convenient. We're getting a lot of positive feedback already, so we appreciate that very, very much. Well, today we are going to be getting an update from Jeff Yates on his path to doing a 180. He'll be joining us in the next segment, so please stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, let me ask you an important question. Are you a person of interest? Think about your life for a moment. What space do you want to dominate? Where do you really want to excel in your life? Coach Micheal Burt wrote an excellent book called Person of Interest, and here are the qualities you need to have. A person of interest is an expert. People want a relationship with them. They are in high demand. A person of interest raises the level of energy when they walk in a room. When you are with a person of interest, you feel better just by being around them. A person of interest has clarity about what they believe. You never have to wonder what they stand for. So when I think about those characteristics, one person that immediately comes to my mind is Dr. Hotze. Dr. Hotze is definitely a person of interest. He is an expert when it comes to hormones, allergy treatment, and natural approaches to health. People come from all over the world because he has developed a program that works. He definitely raises the energy whenever he walks into a room. And he frequently congratulates people on their success. He genuinely listens to them and is interested in their future and in their goals. Dr. Hotze also has extreme clarity in what he believes. I don't know if you've noticed this, but he has definite opinions on what he believes. And he believes, for example, that you deserve to have a doctor and a team of professionals to coach you onto a path of health and wellness naturally, so you can have a better quality of life without the use of pharmaceutical drugs. So when you think about those qualities and you think about yourself, what is your person of interest score? Are you an expert? Do people want a relationship with you? How many people are contacting you for advice? Do you raise the energy, the level of energy when you walk into a room? Do people feel better when they're with you? Do you have clarity about what you believe? Most of us have to work at developing all of these characteristics. Now, what do you think, Mr. Producer? When you walk into a room, do you feel like you raise the energy level?
Under normal circumstances, I would hope that would be the case.
Yes.
And I think we all strive to be, kind of like Dr. Hotze in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
As focused and driven. And, Dr. Hotze is one of those people that whether you agree or disagree with him,
Mm-hmm.
Most people, even on the other side of his opinion, respect the fact that he stands up for what he believes, and he believes something.
Absolutely.
I would hope I live my life that way. I can say that I've been sick the last couple days, and when you're sick, you don't feel that way.
You don't feel like a person of interest.
You don't, and I can tell you, my staff probably feels the same.
Mm-hmm.
You're a little grumpier. You're not as focused. You're not as clear. You don't
Yes.
feel like when you walk into a room, you feel like people can feel your negative energy and your sickness as opposed to
There really is something to that.
No, I think.
I mean, there are people that will walk into a room and they'll bring the energy down.
Absolutely.
It'll be the opposite. They suck the energy out of you.
We deal with a lot of reps in the advertising business, and Some of them you like to deal with, and some of them you don't. Some of them you avoid their phone calls, and some of them you answer. And I really feel like, are they a person of interest? Do I feel like they're bringing something to the table that helps me in my business? And are they being forthright and honest in their approach in doing it? And are they just selling something? Are they truly believing in what they say? And I think you can tell a lot by a person just by how they treat people around them.
Right. Well, they provide value.
Absolutely. And I think that's, I mean, Dr. Hotze's done that for years. He doesn't treat patients every day like he used to, but I can tell you his presence is seen here. Absolutely. It's been seen in my life, I've known him, for a long time through many different businesses. And he actually gave me he gave me the opportunity to start my own business years ago. And I've kind of followed, some of his, practices and protocols. And I hope to treat people the way he does, and kind of, I don't think I'll ever have the energy level he does. I'm not going to sit here and pound
We can
on the
all
table.
aspire to that.
He is just full of energy, but he makes you feel good. You don't ever go into a meeting with Dr. Hotze and feel bad about yourself. You feel like, wow, we are ready to go. This guy is serious about it. And I think a lot of it's because he feels good.
That's right.
It's just the way he feels outside. He's showing the world.
Well, along the lines of a person of interest, Marcus Ryan once said that the quality of our lives can be summed up in 3 ways. First, how well we uniquely know ourselves. Have we discovered the unique gifts that God has given us, and are we using those gifts and talents? I would agree. I would say, James, that you are, because you are great on the radio. You've got a great radio voice. You've got a great talent. You're wonderful. You're wonderful at what you do. A second important aspect of having a good quality of life is how we uniquely know others. Is there a depth and impact in our relationships? And then thirdly, how well others uniquely know us. What is our impact on the world and the value we give to it? Now, I would add that there is another quality, how well we take care of our spiritual, emotional, and physical health, so we can more fully use those gifts. Because if you aren't feeling healthy and well, then it's really difficult to have the energy you need to excel in your life. So it's one thing to be sick for a day or two. So I'm thinking about you, James, our lovely producer, who missed a couple days here in studio because you had a fever. Correct. And you didn't want to infect our office. So thank you. Thank you for that. I know you were miserable.
See, but what's funny is when I felt like that for 2 days, I'm a sissy because I usually feel great. I mean, I literally have never missed a day of work in my life from something like that. Well, when I was sitting there, I was thinking, man, people that are chronically sick, this sucks. Like, there's no other way to explain it. This sucks.
And you just beat me to the punchline, because I was going to say, it's one thing to be sick for a couple of days. However, if you are chronically ill and are struggling with low energy, struggling with a variety of symptoms, then it negatively impacts the quality of your life. So like you, if anybody was paying attention to the radio yesterday, or when I was on Facebook yesterday, I had a bad headache. That rarely happens to me anymore. I used to have migraines all the time, and it negatively affected my quality of life. So getting that headache yesterday, I was able to get rid of it without pharmaceutical drugs. That was a huge win for me, but it reminded me of how things used to be.
Right.
So I would just encourage people out there. I know there's a lot of you out there who are struggling with your health. Pharmaceutical drugs aren't getting to the root of your problems. So what I would do is I would encourage you to do something different. Zig Ziglar once said, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting.
Insanity.
That's right. So definitely we would encourage you to pick up the phone and call us today. We would love to be able to coach you onto a path of health and wellness. The number here is 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. When we return, we will be catching up with Jeff Yates on his journey to do a 180. Please stay tuned here at Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution.
Why walk amongst the living sick when you can join a wellness revolution? Here's Dr. Hotze.
That's right. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired and want to do a 180 and take charge of your health, then give us a call at 281-698-8698. And we'll be happy to send you a complimentary copy of Dr. Hotze's best-selling book, Hormones, Health, and Happiness. Also give you a complimentary consultation. That's 281-698-8698. All right, we have got Jeff Yates on the program. So excited. So we've got a slightly revised intro. Hit it, Mr. Producer.
In September of 2016, Jeff Yates had reached a breaking point. Jeff was overweight, diabetic, hypertensive, lacked energy and zest, was on a pot full of pharmaceutical drugs, and he needed help. That's when Jeff decided to do a 180 and take charge of his own health. Now, 1 year and 3 car wrecks later, Jeff has kept off 25% of his body weight. His blood pressure and blood sugar are controlled without medication. And he's feeling all right. Oh, yeah. Here's Jeff Yates.
Okay, Jeff.
Man, I'm even getting a revised intro now.
I did not know that was coming. Oh, my goodness. I knew it was revised a little bit, but, well, there you go. That does bring people up to date.
Does that mean I've arrived in some way? Or
You're still in one piece, and we're very grateful for that.
I'll take it.
Oh, my goodness. So how have you been, Jeff?
I have been awesome, my friend. How have you been?
Yes, doing really, really well. And in fact,
Great.
I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the first segment, but both James, our producer, and I were just talking to the audience about how it's one thing if you're down and out for a couple days, if you're sick or if you got a bad headache, quite another if you've got these ongoing chronic issues which are really dragging you down and negatively affecting the quality of your life and negatively affecting how well you can use the gifts that God's given you.
Oh, that's so true, Stacey. It can be a burden, and if you go through those things, as I have, I just ask the Lord to help me be more empathetic towards those poor people that are having that chronic pain all the time. And the good news is some of these chronic problems can be solved if you just get on the path to health and wellness.
Yes, and I know that you had actually for many, many years, had been struggling with your weight, struggling with diabetes, high blood pressure, and it really took Dr. Hotze to just sit you down, look you in the eyes, and say, what?
He said, if you don't do something, you're going to die. And
that's pretty strong.
You don't get any stronger than that.
That's not sugarcoating it.
Right. He's so diplomatic on the radio, but I always have to correct him and say, hey, Dr. Hotze, let's tell people what you said. You're going to die if you don't do something. And in fact, I just heard from a friend of mine this week. He called me. It's funny how the story is spread, and I hadn't heard from this guy. So I called him a friend. He was more of a political acquaintance, and I hadn't talked to him in some time. And he called me out of the blue, and he had watched one of the videos. And he said, you know what, Jeff? He goes, I've been worried about you for a long time. He goes, you were going to die if you didn't do something. So I'm glad.
Oh, wow.
He said, I'm glad Dr. Hotze got you by the nape of the neck.
You know what? That's really interesting because it isn't. So Dr. Hotze had to talk to you really strongly to kind of make you really rethink the path that you were on. You were going in the wrong direction, of course. But, you had a lot going on in your life. Really easy, I think, to put things on the back burner and think, oh, yeah, I'll get to it at some point in my life. But to have Dr. Hotze do that, and then people to come up to you once they know you've made a decision to take charge of your life, they're like, yeah, we were worried about you. Like a lot of people won't say it, but think about all the people who were secretly worrying about your health.
You're so right. And you know what I found, too, especially when you're morbidly obese, Stacey, because people can see it, right? It's not like I'm hiding the issue. You people know you have a problem when you're that heavy. Some of our listeners obviously have other internal issues that people can't see that they still need help with. But you'd be shocked at how many people are so encouraging, and then you start to inspire people. The good news I mentioned last week is for the first time, really now it's been about 2 weeks that I've been able to walk almost every day, take Sundays off to preach and things of that nature. But now people in my neighborhood are stopping me again because I've met a woman I'd never met before the other day, an elderly woman, and she actually came out to the front of her door as I was walking by to get my attention. And she said, and she didn't know me from Adam, and she introduced herself to me, and I did the same. And she said, you know what? She goes, I used to watch you walk by my door, my the front of my house every day, and I wondered what happened, and it's so good to see you out here. So I get to visit with her.
Oh, that's great.
I know it is great. My point is, people are watching, they're rooting for you, and then when you sort of stay the course, you start inspiring other people. So that was a good thing for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, it also stresses the importance of having a coach. So Dr. Hotze's been your coach, and it takes a coach to be able to talk tough sometimes. when other people, if you can be concerned about a person, but maybe feel like it's not your place, or you don't want to upset somebody, you just don't want to talk to them about their health issues, even if you're worried about them, a coach can go a little bit deeper and say, look, you need to make some changes.
Yeah, no question. It just like Dr. Hotze always says it, Stacey, everyone deserves a health coach and everyone needs a health coach. And it's just like any other industry, any other walk of life, a coach makes a difference because they provide, a good coach anyway, will provide encouragement, discipline, knowledge, because, I know what I do for a living, and through many decades, I've learned what to do and what not to do, oftentimes by making mistakes, right? And it's no different if you're a bus driver or a teacher or a housewife or a health coach or a sporting coach. And you know what? I was reflecting about the coaches because, as your listeners know that know my story anyway, I was very athletic growing up, and I just started thinking about the coaches that really, really made a difference. Randy Rayburn, Charles Price, whom I still attend church with to this day, by the way. These are coaches of mine that made a huge difference. And that's on the field of athletics, but it's no different with health. You've got to have a health coach because you know what, Stacey? I didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. I tell people I'm not the brightest bulb on the tree, but I'm not the dimmest either, right? And I didn't know what to do. I thought I did, but it wasn't working for me. And before you know it, you slide down into the hole that I was in, and then you lose hope. And then once you lose hope in an area of your life, then that's it. That's another thing a coach does, right? Is encourage you that you can do it, even through the challenging times.
Well, you were becoming a victim of the medical system because you already had been struggling with your weight, and then you developed diabetes, and then they put you on insulin, which caused you to do what?
Gain more weight.
Gain more weight. How helpful is that? Not very. But that's right. That's what they did.
And not just more weight, Stacey. I know you guys are gaining exponentially gaining listeners every week. So a lot of people haven't heard my story, and I'll just tell you. Not only did I gain weight, we're talking about around 100 pounds worth of weight when I was on insulin.
100 pounds.
Right. And the physician just told me, very matter of fact, very deadpan, and just said, well, unfortunately, it's just a side effect of the insulin. And she said, well, most people that are on it don't experience this sort of dramatic weight gain, but it is possible, as you're saying. And she said, but, this is just kind of your lot in life, and we're just trying to keep the blood sugars under control. No thought about the weight gain and what it's doing to, internal organs and joints and quality of life and all that stuff. But that's traditional medicine for you, Stacey.
So you had actually gotten up then to 387 pounds, I believe.
Yes, that was it. Soaking wet, as Dr. Hotze says.
And I'm sorry, what?
As Dr. Hotze says, soaking wet.
Oh, yes.
387.
Yes. And then you had really high blood pressure.
Super high blood pressure, diabetic for 14 years, on 100 units of insulin daily, on 2 other types of oral medication, on a slow-acting weekly insulin injection, and, of course, on blood pressure medication. So, as Dr. Hotze's fond of saying, I was on a pot full of pharmaceutical drugs. That's how you found me. And
definitely going in the wrong direction. What amazes me the most is when they said, well, you're just going to be on this the rest of your life. How long did they think your life was really going to be, with their prescriptions?
That's a good question, but that was definitely told me it would be the rest of my life. And, it's funny, Stacey, that about 90% of the time I spent at the doctor's office was talking about medication and what new types of medications they were going to try and adjust. And about 10% was talked about, we discussed diet. And that was not with the doctor, that was with someone else in the office. And even the 10% of the time I was discussing diet, it was
the wrong.
Right. I call it the Leave It to Beaver food pyramid. It said grains were at the bottom. Eat grains, rice, all that stuff. That's supposed to be they said.
It's insane. I mean, because it converts to sugar.
I know, it's just, well, you know what? That's why we have the wellness center. That's why you folks are around to steer everybody in the right direction.
Well, I'm just saying it had to be very discouraging for you to have gained. So you were already struggling with various health issues. Then you get on insulin. Then you gain another 100 pounds. You're told you're going to have to be on that the rest of your life. I mean, that just has to be a very discouraging place to be in. And I know that a lot of people out there have faced similar situations. So when we return, we'll continue our conversation with Jeff Yates, find out exactly what program that he's been on, the success he has achieved. And if you would like to do a 180 and take charge of your health, and give us a call at 281-698-8698. It's 281-698-8698. You're listening to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. Please stay tuned.
Now back to the Wellness Revolution. Here's your host, Dr. Stephen Hotze.
Welcome back to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. This is Stacey Bandfield sitting in for Dr. Stephen Hotze. And if you were sick and tired of being sick and tired, know there is a natural way to address your health issues. You can give one of our wellness consultants a call today at 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. Be sure to ask for your personal copy of Dr. Hotze's best-selling book, Hormones, Health, and Happiness. So we've been visiting with Jeff Yates, catching up with him a little bit. Jeff, are you still there?
I'm here, my friend.
So we were talking about where you were and the endless cycle that you were on that was actually just kind of taking you into a downward spiral more than anything else. And then Dr. Hotze said, look, you're on all this insulin. You're ballooned to 387 pounds. Your blood pressure is out of control. You're going to die if you don't do something. And so you made a decision. You made a great decision to go in a different direction. So explain to the audience some of the wins and a little bit about the program that you were put on that helped make this possible.
Be happy to, Stacey. Thank you. Yes, I made that decision almost a year ago now to do a 180 and take charge. And as Dr. Hotze's mentioned many times, everyone needs a coach and a health coach, but I and everyone else involved has to make the decision that we're going to take our life back, and that's the decision I made. And Dr. Hotze gave me some very encouraging news the first time I sat down with him about this. And he said, look, we're going to get you off all these pharmaceutical drugs. And I've learned, as I've told your listeners, Stacey, on many occasions, I've learned a long time ago to not doubt Dr. Hotze and what he's saying. But, when you've been sick so long and you've had other medical professionals tell you it's going to be this way the rest of your life.
Right.
You kind of look at it with a jaundiced eye. And although you want to trust someone that you love and believe in, but I just don't think I think there was a disconnect. It's almost like a did not compute line going through my mind. But as sure as I live and breathe, listeners, within 7 weeks of being on the Hotze lifestyle, which includes, proper hormones and supplements that he prescribed and told me that I needed, as well as eating a good Hotze optimal eating plan, which is what? Healthy fats, vegetables, meats, just staying away from the simple carbohydrates. What do I mean by that? Cake, pie, refined sugar, chips. That's the lifestyle I went on. And within 7 weeks, Stacey and listeners, within 7 weeks of doing that, I was off all pharmaceutical drugs.
See, that is incredible right there. 7 weeks.
I repeat, all. And this is radio, so I can't do a visual, but just picture bold in all caps, right? All pharmaceutical drugs. And that has been almost 10 months now, and I have never picked them back up.
Congratulations.
And I'm still going strong. Thank you.
Look, that's
thank
awesome.
you for the help.
Well, it's an awesome win for you, and especially when you were told, so you had the conventional medical system telling you, sorry, you're going to have to be on all these drugs for the rest of your life, and then in 7 weeks, being on this program, you're off of all of them.
That's right, and I want to let your listeners know this was not a willy-nilly decision. This was careful monitoring, sometimes taking my blood sugar 3 and 4 times per day. And diabetics, you'll know what a pain that is. So we carefully monitored, and I had to get off all those things. My blood pressure was going too low, my blood sugar was going too low, and we had to, slowly but surely wean me off of all those pharmaceutical drugs, and I've never looked back.
Yeah, I think that's just one of the biggest, if not the biggest wins that you've experienced so far.
Without a doubt. There's no question that's got to be, if not one of the biggest win.
Right. And then with the weight, I know you've lost, let's see, the most that you had lost was in the 80s, right, before the car wrecks that you were in.
That's right. The highest weight loss I had was 83 pounds, and then I've gained some back, as I reported last week, through all I can describe for people that don't know me is just, other than being bedridden, I suppose, in a coma, just the most sedentary lifestyle you can imagine. Not it was out of medical necessity, not out of choice. But so when you're that sedentary, and I know our body chemistries are all different, I definitely gained some of the weight back as I reported last week.
Sure.
But here's the good news, that I really feel like I'm on the other side of that now. Physical therapy for my neck, my back, but now for about 2 weeks now, I'm up to I'm holding steady at 2 miles per day, other than Sunday walking. I know, so as I said last week, and someone who had heard the show actually called me and said, "Do you really mean that, Jeff?" And I know it was rhetorical, but I answered it anyway, and I said, "Yes, I really mean the statement that when all this was said and done, that my story is going to be greater, the testimony is going to be greater, and I'm going to look back and say, you know what was meant to destroy me ended up turning out for my good, and be able to say, I'm glad I went through it because now I've got an even greater story to tell."
It's a greater testimony. And
no question.
And just for people who may be new to the show, I mean, you were actually, it was 3 car wrecks.
That's right. 2 what I would call, one serious resorting in a couple of a disc being removed and a titanium plate being put in my neck. That's the closest I think I'm ever going to get to being the Bionic Man, by the way. But you can call me that anyway if you want. And then another kind of minor one, but then another major one where someone hit me going 40 miles an hour from behind at a red light.
Yeah, you said they used you as their brake.
Yeah, that's right. That's what the deputy said. And he said, "Mr. Yates, you were the brake."
Great.
I know. So yes, it's been some real struggles, but I'm on the radio, so we're telling my story. But Stacey, as you and I have talked about off air before, I know there are thousands of people listening that their stories are just as dramatic or even more serious than mine. And but that's what I want to get across to everyone is this is a lifestyle, and life happens. You've heard that old term, life happens, and you just have to make up your mind that your mind is made up, that there's nothing left back in Egypt for you. Like the children of Israel who were delivered. Mm-hmm. I'm not going back. All those roadways are washed out.
That's a great visual to think about.
It is. And just think about that. They're washed out to me now. I can never go back. And through challenges, through car wrecks, through surgeries, even through some weight gain, which, it wasn't going back to cheeseburgers. It was just because of this lifestyle, because of the accidents. I just decided I'm never going to give up, and look at all these months later, at post first surgery. Guess what? I'm out there walking again, and I'm and feeling great, and I know the weight's going to start coming off again, and so I just want to encourage your listeners, Stacey, that you never give up. But if you want to be successful, you have to have a coach. That's just the bottom line.
That's right. Well, Jeff, we're going to hold you over for another segment. So when we return, we are going to be talking more about some of the other wins that Jeff Yates has had on his path to doing a 180. And if you want to do a 180 and take charge of your health, then give us a call at 281-698-8698. It's 281-698-8698. You are listening to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. Please stay tuned.
Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution, your daily dose of radio reality.
This is Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution, and we are on a mission to help you achieve health and wellness naturally. If you would want more information on doing a 180 and finally taking charge of your health, then give our wellness consultants a call today at 281-698-8698. It's 281-698-8698. So we're visiting with Jeff Yates. And Jeff, are you still there?
I'm here.
All right. So we've been talking about, where you were with your health, how you had gone up to 387 pounds. You had all these health conditions. You finally get on our treatment program. You're off the medications in, what did you say, 7 weeks?
7 weeks. That's correct.
And that was after being told that you'd have to be on them for the rest of your life. That's what conventional medicine told you. But you were able to get off them in 7 weeks, which is awesome. But share with us a little bit some of the other wins that you've had along the way, which I think are amazing because we get so focused on the end goal. I want to get down to this much weight, or I want, whatever the health goal is. But when it takes time to get there, there are these things that you experience throughout the process that are awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you some of those, but let me tell the listeners something you told me months ago, which, has continued to stick with me, and that is, you said, Jeff, once you're down to where you want to be weight-wise, et cetera, you would have already had this new lifestyle. You've been doing this new lifestyle for so long, there's already going to be new mental patterns that would have formed. So it's going to be a lot easier for you to keep it going. And I want to thank you, Stacey, for those encouraging words. And I continue to think about what you said.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
But you're right about the small victories. Well, I say small. I shouldn't say that because they're huge. You know, one of my favorite statements, puppy love's not important to anybody but the puppy, right? And so they don't seem like big things unless they're happening to you.
That's right. No, you're absolutely right.
In the last year, I've been able to start riding a bicycle again, been able to wear my wedding ring, been able to have all my clothes I like resized, been able to cross my legs.
Right.
Been able to get on a plane without a seatbelt extender. Again, some of your skinny listeners don't know what that's like, but I don't remember the last time I was able to do that, and it's been decades, and I don't have to have one of those now. And so, those are just some of the victories, and many others. Being able to climb flights of stairs. I don't do that. I'm very cautious with that now because of my injuries, but I did take 2 flights of stairs the other day and took it slow again because my neck and my back, but cardiovascular wise, I had no problem at all. So it's an important point you bring up, which is you're going from point A to point B, whether it's, depression or brain fog or hormonal imbalance. And sometimes, it's going to take some of us longer to get to our goals than others. In fact, the center is always telling people I know to be patient, depending on what you've got going on. It may take a little while to correct things. But the good news is you're going from point A to point B. You don't have to get to point B before you start feeling better.
Exactly.
In fact, I felt better, as I tell people all the time, really right away. Now, I know you folks deal with people that have other health issues that takes them a little longer to get the hormones straight and things of that nature. But you're going to start feeling better, listeners, well before you get to where you want to be, if that makes any sense. And so when you realize that, you kind of start enjoying the ride, Stacey. You kind of start enjoying the journey, and okay, what's going to happen next? What am I going to be able to do next that I could do 25 years ago that I can't do now? So it's been exciting.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I'm going back for a moment when you were talking about the seatbelt extender on the airplane. Didn't you say that you had assumed you would still need it, but then the flight attendant said, no, you don't need this anymore?
That's correct. She did.
Wow,
Thank you for reminding me
how
about
great
that.
is that?
She looked at me. She goes, I don't think you need this, sir. And I said, well, just give it to me anyway. And sure enough, I went and I didn't need it, and I brought it back to her after the flight. She was so kind. She goes, I told you.
Oh,
so that was exciting.
That had to just be amazing feeling. Like you've really started to make some serious progress when that happened.
That's right. Really, really amazing. And Stacey, what I say this all the time, and I'm a broken record, but sometimes, we need to hear things over and over. What you folks, the most important thing that you folks have provided for me is hope. And again, that's a subset of the coaching that we've talked about earlier, but listeners, that's what we're all after. Regardless of the issue or the challenge with which you're dealing, you want hope. And noted author Dr. Henry Cloud said, hope is grounded in reality. A wish is not grounded in reality. We wish, as I've said before, that we get $1 million. Well, that's not going to be in my mailbox that's a wish, right? That's not grounded in reality. But I bring all this up to let the listeners know, Stacey, that with the Wellness Center, there is hope. What you folks gave me from day one is hope. And that's not just some existential term, right? That's a real thing that we all need as human beings. And even through the challenges, I know that I've had hope, and that's kept me going. And so I want to thank you for that.
Well, and you've done a great job yourself. Dr. Hoodsey loves to say, we're the coaches, you're the athlete. And guess what? As the athlete, there's certain things that you need to do. And you have done a great job of sticking with the program and sticking with it even through all of the trials that you've experienced. So, okay, you haven't been able to get out there and exercise because you were bedridden because of that car wreck, but you were keeping up with the eating program. You, like you said, you made that decision, that mental decision. You weren't going to go back. I guess, if you were bedridden, you could maybe have given yourself the excuse, well, maybe I'll just have some comfort food and I'll get back on the program once I can start exercising again. But you didn't, you were faithful to that. And that way you're not having to go back as far to get where you need to be. So I think that's great. And something else, Jeff, too, that I want to remind the listeners is you thought your energy level was actually pretty decent before our program. Isn't that right?
Oh, I thought it was a 10, and I think I said 8 or 9 just because I didn't want to be arrogant and tell Dr. Hotze 10. But because I've been I've been sick for so long, I didn't know what it was like to have a lot of energy, Stacey. And
right.
So, man, I'm telling you, within a month into the new lifestyle, man, I was bouncing off the walls, and I just didn't understand what was going on. Of course, Dr. Hotze explained, well, now you're starting to know what it's like to feel better. So then he asked me, he said, well, what do you think your energy level was like when you first saw me back a month ago? And I told him, well, I didn't want to say a 1 because that's almost comatose. So I think I said a 2 or a 3. But it was night and day.
Well, and I want to bring that up because, maybe there are definitely listeners out there that maybe they haven't had the extreme weight gain or situation you've had, although that maybe they would like to lose some weight. However, I will tell you that fatigue, feeling tired, just barely having the energy to get up in the morning, that is a common problem that we see here at our center, that people want to get addressed. And a lot of people, they're just doing everything they can to get through the day, and they're just kind of, the fake it until you make it mentality. And, just want to let people know that that's one of the benefits of the program is that increased energy level, which is what you've experienced.
That's right. That's a huge benefit. And, Stacey, I like to break things up into goals. We all should set goals so we're not just going through life aimlessly. There are long-term, which, with me, it's losing 200 pounds. There's midterm, and then there are also daily goals. And listeners, if you've been hearing this program for a while, or maybe you've heard my report for almost a year now, and you've been with me through the ups and downs, your goal today should be to call the Wellness Center. That's what your goal should be today. My goal today is I'm going to walk. I had early morning things I had to do, so as soon as I get off the radio, guess what I'm doing? I'm going to walk my 2 miles before I have my dinner meetings.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, so, and I mentioned that to say, listeners, all of us have to have daily goals to get to where we want to be.
That's a great
point.
And
if you have not called the Wellness Center, your goal today should be to get a coach.
I could not have said that better myself. Jeff, I'm so glad that you joined us again. And hey, so your goal is to walk for 2 miles today, you said?
That's right, and I'll have my sunscreen on and my shade, my hat, and my water with me.
And you'll be inspiring a lot of people. I know it. And you continue to inspire a lot of people, including myself. So God bless you, Jeff, and looking forward to having you on the program next week. All right?
God bless you, my friend.
Okay,
all mine.
God bless you, Jeff. And everyone out there, I hope that Jeff's story is encouraging and motivating to you. We do want to help you get on a path of health and wellness here at Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. So give us a call at 281-698-8698. It's 281-698-8698. It would be a privilege to serve you as well. So again, thank you for joining us today. Have a blessed day, everyone.
Information provided on this radio program is neither intended nor implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice and is not intended to replace the services of a physician, nor does it constitute a doctor-patient relationship. You should not use information from this radio program to diagnose or treat a health problem or disease without consulting with a qualified healthcare provider. If you have or suspect you have an urgent medical problem, promptly contact a professional healthcare provider or call 911. Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution radio program advises you to always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified health provider prior to starting any new treatment or with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Any application of the recommendations from this radio program is at the listener